Strategic workforce planning is a driver-based system that helps you ensure that you have a workforce with the right skills at the right time to support your organization's strategic objectives. With strategic workforce planning, you can proactively forecast future workforce trends and identify gaps in your workforce against your strategic goals. Demand drivers in strategic workforce planning are defined by the administrator. Examples of demand drivers are regional employee count, number of calls, and new hire count. You can set the default calculation logic to determine how demand for each driver is calculated using either the previous year's ratio, by dividing driver by rate, using driver times rate, or a custom calculation. Keep in mind, if you select previous year's ratio, you need to ensure that data is loaded for the previous year. You can work with the provided data load templates available on the Configure page. Start by entering values for the regional employee count demand driver. We will assign a demand driver for each strategic job. Let's pick a demand driver for director. If you want to override the default calculation logic set on the demand driver data page, select an option for the individual job. Next, configure demand for director. In this example, we need one director for every 1,000 employees. If demand scale is configured, you can apply a demand scaling factor for those jobs where previous year's ratio is selected as the calculation logic. For jobs with previous year's ratio selected, a 30% gain in productivity is expected due to experience. For jobs such as analyst in this example, that don't use previous year's ratio, the demand scale is defaulted to 100% and is ignored in the demand calculation. If there are external influences to boost productivity, such as a streamlined business process, you can indicate a factor to apply to your demand calculations. For example, enter a value for expected productivity for analyst to reflect increased efficiency from a newly implemented automated system. Ensure that all demand data is entered for each year, as values may differ annually. To calculate the demand FTE for a job, right-click on the job and run the Calculate Demand rule. The updated demand FTE will then be displayed. Adjustments can be made to these calculations by entering values in the Demand FTE adjustment column. Once the calculations and adjustments are applied, you can see the total FTE demand. To calculate the demand FTE for all jobs at once, select the first blank row, right-click and select the Calculate Demand business rule. Select Total Jobs or applicable parent member for the calculation. All jobs is used with labor cost planning. To see how demand is calculated, consider the demand for analysts in FY26. With 13,800 calls and a demand rate of 200, the calculation yields 69 analysts, based on the logic of dividing the demand driver by the rate. With a 40% expected productivity gain, only 60% of that demand is required, resulting in 41.4 analysts for FY26. On the demand compensation page, compensation is calculated based on loaded average compensation data and demand FTE by job. To learn more, visit docs.oracle.com.